you can see, this is being weighed down. This is my blanket, my white blanket rose bush. And it's like just really being weighed down. And with the rain that we've been having, it's just even weighed it down a lot more. I have actual plants underneath this. So I've already gotten started where I've cut a lot of this rose bush. I mean, it was hanging down to here. And so I've already started trimming it back. I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring you along as far as trimming my white blanket rose bush, but I thought, why not? I'm already started on it, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm doing it. And really, when it gets this large, I just kind of start chopping away, and then I will fine tune it to trim it where the node is. I will bring you up close to show you that, but for now, I'm just kind of trimming it because it has gone wild. Right here is where I already got started right here. As you can see, there's a good portion, and I just kind of clipped it down. So I still have quite a bit to do right along here. And then take that blackberry bush, which looks like that's coming from right down there, across from the neighbors. Not a big deal, but they are thorny. But as you can see down here, I even have it tied up. I don't know how well you can see this, but I have it tied up. It's gotten pretty big and it's pretty weighed down, but I'll be cutting a lot of this stuff over here down below and just allow this main stem. Do you see that really hardy one right there? That one's one of the major stems, as well as, let's see if I can point it out right over here. I believe that's where it is. Nope, it's right here. And then this one here, and then this one right here are major ones. And then there's a couple of them over here. So those I'm gonna keep because those are the major ones. Don't wanna clip those. But anything up here underneath the canopy, I can cut. Now, if you're an avid rosebush grower, you can mark me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've done for, I don't know, 40 plus years of ever trimming rose bushes and what I've learned along the way. To make your flowers a lot stronger, more beautiful, long lasting, and to make your stem, and I'm talking about these really large major stems, for those to become stronger, as well as these ones here, when you trim it, like right now I'm just kind of cutting it, right? But when I go back and I actually trim it, I want to trim it to this first leaf right here. Now you can take it to the node, which is this, and that's a node would be where a whole new branch comes out of. Let me pull that out since I already cut it. But this is a node right here. But when you're actually trimming this, you're not going to trim it to the node necessarily. You're going to take it to the first 7 leaves. So you basically want to cut it right here. This particular rose bush is very forgiving. It's a profuse bloomer. I mean, you can see all the blooms that have already bloomed, and yet look at all these buds that are still out there. And this will continue to bloom all summer long. But for me to take that weight out from it, I need to cut it down. Now, what I'm going to do down here is I'll clean up some of these smaller branches that are kind of wimpy, kind of look like they're dry and maybe a little diseased or dead. I'll take those out. And then these right here, these 2 right here, as well as there's one across this way, and then there's one down here. These are the major branches for this. And if I was doing this and pinning it up on a trellis or something, I probably would have trimmed it a little different, but because this is on the cyclone fence, has been since I've owned this property, I want to get a lot of that weight out from on top of these plants that are down below, and just raise it up a little bit, make it look more manageable so that my yard can look a little bit more manicured and not so wild. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy this, and I'm gonna go ahead and get with it because it is going to rain. It has been raining already, I'm wearing the wrong gloves, because when you work with actual rose bushes, you really want good leather gloves. But this is what I grabbed, so this is what I'm working with. And hopefully just be real careful. But yeah, the other reason why I'm also trimming this is because I want to try to propagate this. And hopefully I can be successful in it, because this is such a gorgeous flower. I mean, I can't even speak enough of it. I mean, look at that. Look at the array of colors on that. Isn't that just beautiful? And these just get really large and gorgeous. And why not? Why not try to propagate it? And I've never done that with rose bushes, so fingers crossed I will be successful. Now once I get done with this and trimming it to where I want to get it, I'll bring you up close and show you the below branches of where I'm cutting them, because at that point you really kind of want to cut them at a node. That way it can create new branches out of them, and then you'll have a nice sturdy branch as well by doing that. So I'll bring you up to do that, but for now I'm just gonna try to chop away as much as Do you see this branch here, how it's going this direction? I just want to take some weight off of it. And I'm going to cut it right here at this node, because then it's going to force some more branches out on these nodes over here. And so I'm going to cut it right here to take some of the weight off of it. And see how it just sprung up? So that's what I want to do. This one here is going this direction, kind of taking over my boulevard clematis over here. So there's like a node here, and then there's another node right here, and then there's one right here. I'm going to take that right there and take that branch out, and I'm going to take this branch down to the next set of leaves right here, and I'm going to take that down to that node. There, and that frees all this up. With rose bushes, you want to give, whether it's a normal rose bush or a climbing rose bush, you want to take out and give some air. So that's basically what you want to do. And then these stems are going to be a lot tougher as it gets older. Plus, it's going to force out some new branches to go upright rather than across. There, now doesn't that look so much nicer? Now all my plants down here can actually get some sunlight. And as far as this is concerned, this is hanging really low, this branch. So I'm going to cut it. I'll bring you real close to where I'm going to cut it. But I'm basically going to cut this whole branch to the next node. That's all really what you need to know. It doesn't have any extending upright, so you know that it's safe. Let me bring you close. I'm not even sure if I have you positioned right, but see this branch right here? It's really useless. I mean, really, I don't need it at all. It will grow new branches and, you know, branch out some new foliage, but I need to thin this out. So I'm going to cut it way down here to this node right here. And hopefully you were able to see that. Take that completely out. And then down here, I'm just going to clean it up. Take it to that node. This I don't need. This I don't need. But I'll cut it right above the node so it can get a new branch. But this right here is what happens when you don't get enough air on your rose bushes, whether it's a climbing rose bush or not. These are just dead. I remove those. Give it some air. Okay, that looks like it's good enough for me. So doesn't this look so much nicer? I mean, I just am so glad that I did this. Now I'll bring you down below so you can see how much airflow is now getting in between this, and it's going to help it from getting any diseases because rose bushes really need a lot of airflow, whether it's a climbing rose bush or not. They really require a lot of airflow. And so by trimming them and keeping them clean is really the key to having a beautiful, healthy rose bush, and just especially to having them bloom profusely like this. This one will bloom, like I mentioned, all summer long, all the way into close to fall, I believe. And then it'll start kind of dying back, but it still stays as an evergreen. I mean, there's a couple branches here that I could still cut off, like right down here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. It's fine. Whatever. It's clean enough for what I'm going to leave for the new owner, so that's the main important part of this whole trimming. But I also wanted to just have these plants have a little bit of sunlight and relief from all the shade, because it was basically covering everything down here, and now everything's exposed again. So that's really the key to doing all this. So anyway, I didn't mention my name. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Juanita. Thank you for joining me today. And for those of you that have been following me, thank you for being here with me today as well. I did start the video off as I normally do, but I got in the middle of doing this, and then I kind of stopped and thought, you know what? Let me just show you guys what I'm doing today. So yeah, there's a lot of times I do things behind the scene that you never get to see. This was going to be one of them, so I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, love you, and I really appreciate you. And you guys, don't forget to get out and get active. Do a little trimming, and just even the slightest bit that'll help your plants, because believe me, plants need airflow for them to thrive, especially rose bushes, because otherwise they will get diseased. And it doesn't matter what kind of rose bush you have, it needs airflow. And so yeah, keep that in mind. I'll give you one quick look down here so you can see how beautiful it looks now and how clean it looks, and hopefully you guys can compare the before and after. Okay, I'm gonna clean up. I'm not bringing you to that, and maybe do a little weeding. You don't need to see me weed. Probably seen me do that many times. So. Okay, so it's the next day, and obviously I'm dressed differently, or at least I cleaned up really well. But anyway, it is the next day because it got way too late last night by the time I was completely done. But now you can see my rose bush. Look at how beautiful that looks. Isn't that just gorgeous? I absolutely love it. And now you can see how much airflow gets through, and it looks so much cleaner. And it was a mess, but it was manageable as far as cleaning up. And now I don't have to deal with a lot of diseases that rose bushes get, because if you don't give rose bushes airflow, this is the sort of things that will happen. You know, you'll get like a fungal thing going on, and just having too many branches overcrowding themselves to where that moisture collects and then kind of mildews your plants. Now, this happens a lot with rose bushes, Now, if you've got a different opinion, please leave it in the comments below. Love to hear what your thoughts are. But that's what I have experienced in all the years of growing rose bushes and learning about them. And although I don't have a lot of rose bushes because my yard doesn't dictate the light that it requires to have them, but I have had them, and that's been my experience. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that. Then I also cleaned out my sword fern here. And now you can make your way all the way over to the other side. Now I want to point out one thing, because I did do a lot of weeding around here. It really was on, things were just really growing, like the clover that grows all the time. And I could have planted some steppable clover, and I decided I didn't like it, but clover is relentless. And so it was getting a little overwhelming here, as well as some grape hyacinths that had kind of pollinated in there. But I wanted to point this out, because if you are trying to create a pathway and want something different, when I created this pathway, this pathway out of flagstone, and I created all this all the way around and all the way to the other end, I wanted something different, and I knew that I wanted a circle, but I wasn't sure what type of stone I wanted. I know I wanted something that was a different type of stone, and I just happened to be walking down the block when one of the nearby neighbors were tearing up their driveway, and so I asked them if I could take some of the pieces, and that's how this got created. And so why I'm telling you this is because you can create something beautiful out of something that is just a driveway, and make it look artistic and be creative, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to do that. So keep that in mind if you're a new gardener or just simply trying to create something in your yard, that you can do it very inexpensively. But anyway, I didn't do anything else other than, just cleaned up the grape hyacinth and kind of cleared the path. But now you can see how much more beautiful this is. So now I'm going to take you all the way down, because I want to show you 2 more things. So I think on my previous video, I had mentioned that I wanted to show you a rose bush that had never bloomed for years, and it bloomed for the very first time. Well, I ended up somehow taking and editing that part out. So this is what I was talking about. This rose bush here has been in this yard for, I don't know, the previous owners. Only it was in the backyard. And so I dug a part of it out, and I transplanted it, and I transplanted it over in this direction. Then about 2 or 3 seasons ago, I decided to transplant it over here, because it wasn't getting the appropriate sun there, because my butterfly tree, that is now a shrub over here, was just creating too much shade for it. So I planted it here, and it still never bloomed, but this year is the first time it's bloomed. Now I will be taking this one because it's really not in the right place. So I will be digging her up and taking her with me as a memento of something that's been in this yard for many, many years. And I just want to take a piece of memory with me, and that's going to be one of them. So now let me take you all the way, because I want to show you one more plant, and then I'm going to turn around and show you what the yard looks like going back. Now you can see my nearly black voodoo lily. Look at how much larger these flowers have gotten. And they're going to be opening up probably within the next couple of weeks. I will take you through and update you, but you can see that it's starting to open up right here. And once it opens up, this is kind of like a daylily, where it'll probably stay bloom for maybe 1 or 2 days. So I guess it's not quite like a daylily, because it does last a little bit more than just 1 day. And it's very similar in the fashion that it'll open up, it'll stink like a dead carcass, and then the flower will start dying down. Now the reason why it smells so much is because it attracts flies. and flies are good pollinators for plants. So keep that in mind. Don't, if you get flies in your area, don't, feel that it's gross, because they do serve a purpose as well. So that's just something that I've learned because of the voodoo lilies. And yeah, because I certainly was one of those people who was like, oh my God, why am I getting so many flies, right? But now I know that they are good pollinators, just like bees, and they cross-pollinate with your plants, and they serve a good purpose. So now I'm going to take you back this direction. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you guys, and most of all, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one.